Well, it's a nice Friday. Nice Friday for watches to come in the mail. And I had some trade-in watches from customers. So I thought I'd look at them and let you guys check them out along with me. That might be fun. So we have 3 different watches that have come in today. 6138 0017 Yachtman. It's a one-owner watch. It belonged to the person who sent it in, and belonged to their dad. They weren't even aware that their dad even owned the thing. They found it in his stuff after he passed. He wore this a lot. Look at the fading. I mean, you even have fading on the orange markers. These markers on the dial are normally like a dark pumpkin orange along with that sweep hand. He wore this a lot. And he reset it a lot. See those chips off the minute hand? That's when you do a hard reset. And if you do a real hard reset from the bottom of the dial, this sweep handle flex, because unlike a Swiss watch, unlike something like this, which is where there's sort of a fundamental disconnect between, there's no direct connection between the force I'm putting into this button and the force that goes into the reset. I click a switch, and that releases, that clicks a cam over, which goes boop, and it pops it back to top dead center. This one, the actual force of the pushing into the button is what hits this. So if it's set too high a pressure, or it's out of spec, you can really do a number. You can really do a number on it. What do we got? Yeah, look, the case back's been off. Oh, it's the 0011, not 0017. The only difference is where they were sold in the world. I don't see any signatures inside the case back. Doesn't look like moisture ever got in. Look at that. No, it looks pretty clean in there, doesn't it? Gaskets are old. You can tell, because they're all sticky. Out. There we go. I just wanted to reorient the movement ring spring, because it's in the wrong place. There we go. Looks pretty nice inside. Be a good candidate for rebuild. Especially it's a one-owner watch. That's always nice. There we are. There's our ring. Cool. This one I need to not let run because the minute counter hand has popped off. And that happens if you use the chronograph a lot too, because again, you're putting a bunch of force into the reset. Where's that hand? I saw it when I was looking. Oh. Ha ha ha, it's right there. And I freed it up. So I gotta let that wound down, and that'd be a good candidate. He loved the watch. He wore it. These need more love. Next, got got a trade-in, a 6105 8000, and this baby has seen some wrist time. The metal's pretty good. The loom is just, it's pretty roasted. I might be able to clean it up, but the tops of the markers are pretty good. This is, this is a service dial and handset and a Type 1 crystal. That's kind of weird, isn't it? But yeah, this service dial and handset, because it's resist. These did come with resist, but this is a proof, and it's an early proof, July 1968, with a Dyne produced 7-digit caseback. I'll be curious to see the date on the back of the dial. I don't know that I'm going to be able to, like that hand loom, that's pretty jacked up. This watch lived a serious life. Whoever owned this thing loved it enough to have it serviced. He wore it enough that he needed to have the hands and dial replaced. And then he wore it enough after that to need it again, in theory, but I'm going to repair the originals. What do we got? What do we got? She's not running at all. Wow, look at the mainspring barrel. What is with all that? Look at all the scratching. What's all that about? Oh, do you see what I see? Look right there. Where's that screw? Oh, I bet you anything it's in the train. Yep, we got us a missing screw. Yeah. Are you moving? Oh, I pulled out the case back seal. I shouldn't be fiddling around with the bounce right now anyway. This thing has had a hard enough life as it is. Do we have any signatures in the back of this one? Oh, we got one. What's it say? Oh no, we've got several. I count at least 3 signatures in the back of this caseback. Again, I don't know what they mean. Typically, they're not going to give us much information, but whoever owned this watch loved it, and they wore it a lot. I don't know, it's strange. You don't see these with this many hours on them. Oh, come on. Oh, but look at that. Interestingly, it's got the first type movement ring spring. The early kind, instead of having a separate ring and everything, it's this bit, and it's got these sort of cutout spring sections right there. This is the first gen type. I thought they got rid of those. It's only July. But I thought by June 68 they'd already gotten rid of that. 6105A. Yep. So they didn't change out the movement. I can't tell if it's... Wait, yes I can. Just in case they put a B in there. No, there's no hacking lever in there that I can see. We'll know when I rip it apart. It's a typical fisheye pip. I don't know why they did that, but they did. I don't know. I'm curious to see how this is going to clean up. I'm curious to see how my loom stuff will do on this. The case is pretty worn. I mean, it's never been abused, and, you know, it could be, it's at the case of being worn where a professional redo might be the thing. Somebody rebrushed the top. The case has been polished. But the metal in the hands is good. Wait a second. Okay. Wow, it's all kinds of gummy. Yeah, it's not clicking over. It's just rotating freely. This watch needs some love, but it's going to get it. It's going to get some love. I don't know. I mean, even as it is right now, it's not bad looking. Look at that ghosted bezel. This was a working watch. I'll be curious to see how this come out. I really will. Last but not least, we've got us a poor man's 62 MAS. I'm sorry, a poor man's Heuer. The movement, there's no stem or crown, so the movement can just kind of roll around, and the casing clamps are not in place there either. These are cool. This model, besides being called the poor man's Heuer, it's also called the poor man's Top Gun, or just a Top Gun. There was these watches for Valjoux and Orfina, another brand. They were wholly created as a white label piece for those companies by Heuer. This is a Heuer Pasadena case. People call this a PVD, this black, but this is not physical vapor depositing, which is what PVD stands for. This is more like an anodization of some kind. Seiko did a true PVD. You can actually, I went and dug this out. This old H601. And it's like a coating of paint or enamel on the top of the metal. If you look around the edges, like right here on this case, you can see where that stuff is worn off, and it's down to the sort of, you know, dark colored metal underneath. I'm not quite sure why they did this, but you can see that thick layer. You can see that thick layer, and I don't see that here. It looks like an anodization, but I don't know that stainless steel can be anodized, so I don't quite know what I'm looking at. I'm going to have to be careful in cleaning it, though. These cases are peculiar in that, like, this chapter ring is not a separate piece. So when I pop the glass out of here and I want to seriously clean the case, that bezel, that face, is part of the case. And I'm gonna have to basically hand clean the case. And look at all the gruck in there. These are powered by the excellent Valjoux 7750. As is correct for these, it has that legend on the that text on the Etika Watchco Swiss. That is 100% correct. I have another movement from one of these watches. There it is. You see, that's what it's supposed to look like. I actually have most of one. I don't have the case, but I have the dial and a bunch of different stuff, parts of the movement. Someday I'll find an empty case and I'll make another one, but in the meantime, I've got this. And I'm looking forward to doing this. There it is, the fabulous Valjoux 7750. It's part of that Valjoux chrono family. Here's a Valjoux 7734. And you can certainly see the family resemblance, I'm sure. Look at this one. It's got this nice, like, almost like a, this real fine regulator. Wonder why because these must run at a lower BPH. I don't remember. These things are high beats. I can't wind it because the stem and crown broke off and there's a chunk of the stem inside the movement. So all I can do is force wind it and try to get it going that way. But it needs lots of love. But what a beautiful movement. People say they're sort of, workmanlike, and they sort of, these things are they're a masterpiece of industrial art. They're not like art for art's sake, but they are super cool. Boy, it needs service like whoa. Does one have any marks on the inside? Yes, it does. CH35 something. Doesn't mean a thing to me. A lot of the dial markers fell off. You can see they're applied markers. There's 2 of them left there. These are all gone. I've seen that before with these. Loom is black on the hands. I'd relume it. The orange is faded. I'd probably darken that down a hair. What a cool watch. These would have come on a metal bracelet with this same kind of black finish on it. That's a cool watch. I'm going to have some fun with these. Anyway, so Friday evening, thinking about projects. I don't know. It's tempting. Which one do you think I should do? What do you think is worth the first time investment? You let me know. Anyway, there's some watches.